Hello, my friends. It is Saturday, January 11th. I am back upstairs, and for those of you who like watching me ramble and do stuff, here's another video for you. So I am currently, well, I'm going to do lots of things today. I don't know how many I'll show you. First thing I want to do is, I have an idea for a print for the journal page, for one of the first journal entry pages that I'm working on. So I want to try and make that today using Gelli printing, which is something I'm pretty new to. You will note that I have a lot of different crafts, arts, things that I work in, because I become obsessed I watch a million YouTubes, then I buy the things, and then I do the things, and sometimes I continue with them, sometimes I don't, sometimes I come back many years later. So anyway, so I'm going to try some Gelli printing today, but between my layers, I have to let those dry. So I think while we're doing drying time, I will run through some of the projects I'm currently working on outside of this. So first of all, so these are some prints I did these last week. Didn't turn out quite as good as I hoped, but this one's pretty cool actually. I didn't like how the paper wrinkled up though. And then this one was kind of like a waste sheet that I just used to pull paint off with, but I kind of like how that turned out. And then this one was just one try with a stencil. I think it could look cool over something else. So anyway, I'm going to try doing one today that kind of looks like a dumpster fire is the theme, mostly fire. So first time I did Gelli printing was actually not with pre-made plate. It was, oh gosh, it was an art project I did with students way back. We're talking like probably 2015. And we used actual gelatin at the time. I used it to make the printing plate, and then we used leaves to make leaf imprints. And they turned out really, really cool. But now you can buy these professionally made Gelli plates. I have a big one because, you know, I always have to get the biggest and best. I see some dog hairs on here. I don't want those in my print. Okay, I don't know. No, there's quite a few. Guess what? Little fuzzy dog hairs, thanks to my dog, are probably going to just be a signature of my work. Let's call it that. Okay, so when I did these other Gelli prints, I had some paints that I had previously bought, and I did not want to spend a lot of money on those, so I didn't. And I bought a kit that came together. They looked like they were be okay, but they were really runny and kept separating. So I went to my local art store and I bought some more different paints, acrylic. I again did not go for the expensive brand. I want to try these first. And if that doesn't work, I'll go to what everybody else is using. And I bought some colors. I think I was feeling rather blue-green at the time because these are the colors I bought. And there's a couple metallics in here. And then I just happened to pick up this yellow and this permanent red violet. Ha! It's not English first. You have to read the second line. That's not red violet. So I have no idea how this is going to work because I don't have an actual red to use. So we're going to try doing the red violet. It's got a lot of blue in it, so we'll see what happens. And then I'm going to mix these two to make orange. And then I'll use this one. I'm hoping because I mix these two, you know, it probably won't look like fire, but it'll get close. So the first thing we're going to do is put down the dark layer. So in order to do that, I have my brayer here, which wouldn't come clean, and I gave up, and that's fine. And I have some other things I'm going to use here. I need paper to roll our brayer off on. So I don't know why I'm shaking this. Let's give it a shot. Oh my, I think that's probably too much. This paint is already better than the other stuff. The other stuff was just so liquidy. All right, and then we're just going to roll this on the surface. I think I need a different brayer because this one, well, maybe I'm just being too heavy-handed because now it looks better. It leaves lines. And I don't necessarily, see, like that. I thought I had one downstairs, but I'm not sure. All right. So we're gonna, ooh, that is really a pinky color, isn't it? That's okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is just remove some of this color and leave lighter color to do variations. I am going to do that first. Here's I got a pack of fabric from somebody off of Marketplace, and oh look, I didn't cover there. Now I'm lifting it off. Try this again. Cool thing is I'm going for texture, so that will help. Okay. Anyway, here's a bit of fabric stabilizer I was gonna throw away, but what I'm gonna do is just dab off some of this color. And then now I can put that back in the garbage. And then to get like a flame-like shape, I'm gonna use some of that Amazon paper. And I made it pointy at one end, right? And I'm just going to kind of push that down. Maybe do one up higher. And then just do this one like this. We'll see. No idea if this is going to do the effect I'm looking for, but whatever. And I'm going to use tracing paper today because I kind of want this to be translucent, but I also really did not like that other paper, and it's what I have. A lot of people use printing paper, and for some reason I'm not doing that. So we're going to lay this down. Actually, this is not how I was going to do this. This is how we're going to do it now. There won't be any drying time. So originally I was going to let that dry and then put another layer on it. But so let me just rub it in. And we're going to pull it off. Well, it's a start. How about we do, we're just going to try and get a couple, like quite a few different variations of colors in here. And I'm going to add just a little bit of yellow to see what happens with this. Oh my goodness. I saw a guy mixing like this the other night. It was actually pretty cool. He just used his brayer to get those spots out. I did clean off the other stuff because we'll lift it off if I want to. Okay, that is a piece of fabric cloth. That does not get to go in. All right, and this time let's try lifting some of this off of the stencil. Let's see. This is tea bags. A lot of people use tissue paper, but I actually can't find any, so I used these when I tea dyed a bunch of paper. So again, this is probably taking off too much ink, but we will see what happens. I'm not worrying about how exact it is because I wouldn't like it a little bit more exact. Classic Brandy. Tell you one thing and decide another. If I don't like this, then we're going to just use this as a background and start over. Getting there. Adding some more color. Okay, let's do a little bit of yellow on this. So the thing about jelly printing is while you're learning, and even after you learn, I've seen you really don't have any idea what could happen until you've practiced a technique a lot. Okay, there's really not a lot of paint on here, but that's okay. And then this time I am going to put this on upside down because you can kind of see ghost shadows where it lines up. And I want to get the textures different. There we go. That's looking better. Okay, so now I am going to go back and try doing it the original way I was going to do it. We'll set that off to the side. I did not clean my brayer off. I kind of liked, so by adding the yellow, we got a darker red. So I am going to go ahead and use this red violet again. And I'm going to add in a bit of red or yellow to darken it, to change it to be less purple. It's got less blue in it, more yellow. And we're going to mix that up. Oof. Hello. The other side is sticky, but I haven't wanted to take the plastic protective off because it just is too pretty. I don't want to. I also don't have a really good surface to stick it on yet. So maybe I'll get a... Alright, so now I'm going to lighten up my brayer to see if we can get rid of some marks. Clean it off. Okay, so this time we are going to use this stencil. And I am going to use another sheet of tracing paper to kind of remove the color inside of this stencil. I'm using this tracing paper because I don't have the tissue paper, and the tea bags aren't really big enough to just get a really good coverage, so I'm going to do this. But now the stencil isn't quite big enough for the paper, so what I'm going to do is just flip it over and then really focus on lifting up. You can kind of see where my stencil ended there. More from this side, so we're not touching this stuff so much. And even that is cool as itself. The cool thing about this is, yeah, you do go through a lot of paper, but you could recycle so much of this stuff. All right, I am going to take this off. sprayer off some of the paint. This is another trick I learned last night. Because I am not going to wash these every single time. I hate washing paint off of things. And I've seen other people not do it. All right. So I'm going to set all my wet inky stuff off to the side so I don't get it on my current projects. We're going to let this dry. It's 11:34. We'll check it. We'll try and add another layer at like 11:39. Oosh. And I'm going to move this as well. All right, so we are going to go with oldest project first. All right, that would be this one. So last time I talked about looking for something that I could do that was completely mindless and coming across meditation scrolls on K3N's page, K3N Clothworks. I will link to her page. And I just loved that. So I started doing that. All it is it's a strip of fabric. And then you take, this is the part I started, just other scraps of fabric. I had picked up a bunch of scraps from an estate sale. I had some fabric of my own, picked up a couple things at Goodwill that I ripped up. All right, so I've got a yellow piece, I've got a red piece, and then I just started stitching circles in a running stitch, and I just kept going with that all the way down. I use sometimes this is a color changing fancier thread. And then like this one, this red didn't show up a lot against this background, and this beige didn't either. So sometimes I would try and do some more colors that were more complementary rather than next to each other on the color wheel. And so I just kind of kept going with that. All right, and then this is what I have at the end. I could just keep adding on, but I decided to just end this one. And then I didn't like just the circles. I felt it needed more. And I had seen somebody else use blanket stitch to make like this cobblestone type path thing. And I tried doing that. Not a huge fan because it really stands out more than the circles. I may remove it. I haven't decided. So while this could be done, it's not, because I'm not super happy with that part. I can't think of a different way to bring the circular spiral stitches out more by adding anything else. So I may just rip that up. And it's supposed to go on a spool, but this spool I bought is not big enough. Well, I suppose it could be actually. Not really. And you just kind of roll them up like this. So really what this is it's a way to keep yourself mindful in the moment, reduce some anxiety. You know, it's kind of like a meditation scroll. Yeah, it definitely needs a bigger spool. I keep looking. I could make one. Haven't got there yet. But I like it because just touching all these textures, it's relaxing. It's soft and bumpy. I really like it. So you could stitch a thing on the back if you don't like messy backs. I really don't care. On this one, it's part of the process. So that's the first thing I started with. Where are we? 11:38. That got me into some of this hand sewing stuff and some of K3N's projects. So, all right. Let's see. Is it dry? Kind of. Maybe I'll give it another minute. Okay. So then from there, oh gosh. So I'm going to touch my stuff with painty hands. Do as I say, not as I do. I started making this, It's a skirt. If you look on YouTube or the internet and look for 18th century split side skirt, that's what this is. Basically it has ties, and you tie the front around the front and the back around your back. These pleats were an absolute pain in my butt. The math, I also did those on a sewing machine, and that made it harder. I think were I to do pleats again, I would hand stitch them, because I could just, by the time I pinned everything and then ran it through the sewing machine, it took forever. But then here's like an example of the side. It's like split, right? So these would not normally tie together. So this is the back. This is going to tie around the front of your waist, and then you pull the front up and you tie around the back. And then there's this split in the side, which makes it extremely adjustable for anybody who needs adjustable clothing. And then you have, do I have it with me? I do not. Way back then, they would have pockets that they sewed that were not part of the dress. You tie them on around your waist separately. So I did that. This is obviously still not finished. I've tried wearing it a couple times, but it's too big. There's too much fabric, so I have to go make it smaller. And I don't really like the idea of tying on a separate pocket. So I am going to go back and add big pockets to the front that I can access, and then, you know, you don't have to worry, like they overlap enough that there's nothing going to show through. Anyway, the spotlight of this is I am also stitching circles on this. This is the color changing fabric, and I just drew some and started stitching circles. And then I plan to just keep on adding to it as time goes on, or it might just stay with just circles on the front only. And I also have to put some ribbon in, because so this was a sheet. It's not 100% it's mostly polyester, but look at all this fraying. So I have ribbon to fix the seams when I do it next time. Anyway, so that's from the summer still. An old project. Okay, back to this one. All right, so this is dry. This will stay the way it is. But now I want a more orangey layer. So let's try kind of an equal amount of the yellow and the red violet and see what we get. Oh, this is much more. Okay, I don't want to do the stirring on this because I don't want to disturb that bottom layer too much. And I'll be honest, this is the first time I've tried it before, but it didn't work out so well. So let's go with that. I think I am going to use the stencil again. Sure. But let's try it a little bit differently. Wait, paint side, this side. Like that. I am going to reuse this tracing paper minus the little bug. To get some of this paint up. So what happens is you lift some of this paint up, but then it leaves the stuff underneath the stencil there. And because I don't want this really hard line, we're going to do this again and just do that edge a little bit. We'll do the same thing over here. I think I'll go that way. Just enough to camouflage that line, hopefully. I'll set that off to dry. Before I sprayer off the stencil again. Maybe clean off the brayer better. All right. Just transfer the paint. Okay, move the inky stuff again. $11.44. So $11.50 maybe? We'll see. Okay, next show and tell. This is another project from K3 and Cloth Tales. Ooh, ow. So she would have weekly slow stitch prompts. Slow stitching is just, you know, meditative stitching where you're done by hand. Some people will disagree. I'm going to say it's done by hand. And you're just more involved with the process than the product. So she had weekly prompts. The first one was this one. It was community, and we took fabric. If you're my eldest child, yes, this is one of your shirts. These are 2 of your shirts you no longer wore. I stole them out of your closet and cut them up. Anyway, so we wove those together and then stitched them down. I also used some ribbon. I only stitched the outsides. Some people stitched inside. I didn't really felt it needed that. And then I tried labeling things. So I did this on July 10th with ribbon. I liked that, but then I was like, I can't fit a lot of information. So then I thought I would sew some paper between them so I could write on here. But now that I have assembled some pages and looked at that, I don't like it. So here is a lesson for all of you. You can just change things you don't like. All right, well, that's a little more forceful than I thought. Ta-da! And then I can go through on the other side and pull out what's left. I like that better because then you can see both sides when you open it up. I'm doing accordion style because I didn't have it bound first and I didn't know how big it would be. This was an interesting project. I wish I had the week on here, but I don't. So we did some rust dyeing, eco dyeing in the ground. This started out as a piece of white or off-white fabric that I had left over from my previous stitching project I shared last week. So we stitched in there. Her directions were to stitch, if you love something, set it free. And then you did another one, the same material. And then the rest of that saying, what is it? If it comes back, it was meant to be, or it was yours. I didn't quite do that because I didn't do the first week. I didn't do this when they originally did it. I decided to do it. I did it on spring solstice to summer solstice. So I just did this one and I stitched the word hope in here. It's really hard to see, but here's H. Oh no, heal. H, E, and then there's an A, and then an L. And then we wrapped it up with some rusty bits that we found. I found some things laying around the driveway and garage. And then we buried it into the ground and left it. I think the original one was left for maybe 6 months. I don't know. I'd have to go back. But then the next solstice, I unburied it. And this is what it had become. You know, it started out like this plain color. And there's rust things here. I also put some leaves in here. So the tannins affected that. And some of it got eaten away and disintegrated. I buried it in my flower garden. But that was pretty cool. I want to do that again. Let's see. Another one she did was stitching with leaves. See, I'm going to have to make these loose because it's stuck there. This one we went and got a leaf from outside and waxed it. I think mine could have used some more wax. And then we stitched through it. This was a hole that was already in the leaf. And I decided to do a little bit of weaving because I also do some weaving stuff. It's been a thing that I enjoy, which is ironic because in college, I can say this now, when I was getting my Bachelor of Fine Arts for graphic design. I signed up for a weaving class, but it was at 8 a.m. So I never went. And then because I have the ADHD, I forgot to drop the class. And I figured, well, I'll just have to retake it to replace the F. And when I got my report card, I had an A in weaving. So I like to think I'm kind of earning that now. Some other things we did. Oh, this was stitching a mandala. Learning how to create one of our own design and stitching it. This was, oh gosh, I can't think of the name. But, oh my gosh. Look at, I didn't put my paper down before I printed. Now I have paint on my easel. Anyway, back to here. So we learned how to do this stitch to keep, normally this is done with the mirrors in Indian work. I'll have to find the name, think of it. This is why I need to label these things. And then this one we did applique. And I did a butterfly. We also removed back fabric, practice moving that to reduce some of the bulk. See, this is why I don't like these papers. This one was, I think, probably week 2, light and dark. You know, her original inspiration was that on one side of the hemisphere of the earth, it's very light right now, and other parts it's dark in winter. So I chose a light and dark background. And then this one, we pulled threads from our piece of fabric and then restitched them in. I didn't spend a ton of time on this one, but I did get the technique, and that's why it is journaled. And then I did not do any others of the 52 weeks, so I want to keep working on those this year. I think I'm going to try week 3 this year, or this week, which is diversity. Okay, put this puppy back. I keep all my projects stored in their own little clear bags. Clear is the key to knowing what I have. Because I am very much out of sight, out of mind. Okay, let's put... Okay, I have not moved at all, and I already lost the piece of parchment or kitchen paper I had down. Fortunately, I have others. Let's just do another one. Because I got paint on my mat. There, it doesn't matter if it's shiny side up. Okay, dried. Pretty good. Okay, so yellow. Let's do just plain yellow on this one. Now, I don't necessarily want to keep doing the stencil. So I'm trying to think what I can do to add texture. Probably dabbing it off. I think maybe some fabric, and I just won't press really hard. We'll see what happens. Maybe, here's a bit of paper towel. Let's just lightly you know what else? I just realized I should have gone light to dark, because the bottom layer is going to be, well, let's just take a chance. Okay. I think I can work with that. Except for now I lifted off one of it. Good job, Randy. See, you can watch this and learn from all of my mistakes. All right, the one we were printing on is this one. I'm not going to do that because we're going to let this dry. And then I'm going to use a white to transfer it all off to get what we have. This is going to be taking way more layers than I thought it would, but that's okay. Drawing time again. There's no paint on this time, so I won't move it. What else have I got going on here? Ah, knitting. There's more somewhere. Honestly, there is. So I knit my kids' socks for Christmas this year, though. I didn't get very far. This is my son's. There is another one downstairs. I still have to, the toes, close them up. But I'm going to do that with all of them at the same time, so I don't have to keep looking up the instructions. So his are done. And then my eldest socks are these ones. I have one done. This is dyed yarn from Arcane Fiberworks. The other two, like my eldest, oh my gosh, I can't talk today. They like a shorter sock, so that's even much easier to knit. And I've started on the second one, so this is as far as I am. So silly me thought I could finish all these socks in 2 days before Christmas, and it aggravated a injury I already have. So I cannot knit on them for too long at a time now, which has really slowed getting them finished. And then this one is for my son's girlfriend. Again, I have one finished. And then I have not started one, but I have the needles ready to go. This one is also Arcane Fiberworks. I'm not really happy with how the colors have turned out. The children have all, well, they're children, they're all adults, have seen their socks, so this is not ruining their surprise. Again, a soft sock. These look like they're really long, but they're not. I traced out everybody's feet. All right. Long enough with some stretch. So that's what I've been currently working on. A little bit more, trying to get those done in a reasonable time. I did tell them it's their fault they weren't done because they introduced me to Stardew Valley, and I played a lot of Stardew Valley when I should have been knitting. So, okay, this is still a little bit tacky. I'm tempted, but I'm not going to do it. Let's see. Something else. Let's pause with the works in progress for a moment. I am going to make a page for my journal out of this envelope here. So we will do that quick. I'm gonna just open it up on the side. I'm gonna leave this. Actually, I should measure. How wide is this? It is 19 inches, which is fantastic. I can cut this part off. No, I can't because that's the middle. By 12 inches. Well, we're gonna commit. It will turn out to be a happy little accident, as Bob Ross would say. I can put tape over there or something when I'm binding it. So if you remember, my book was pages were 8 by 11, and so that would be a 16 by 11 across. So we can just go ahead and cut this pretty quick while I'm waiting for that to dry. line it up on the bottom. Use my ruler. Collapse everything on my desk. And then I'm going to use the quilting ruler because it's longer. Reline. Find the 11 inches marked. I think I'm actually going to go 11 1/4 because I want to straighten off that bottom edge. And then I will use my paper rotary cutter. This one is broke. And this one I never put away. And we're just going to cut that. It's a junk journal, so it can be junky. And I am going to just fold it in half again. And cut both sides at once to be 8 inches. Oh, sorry if that was blinding you. I still have my marks from when I was doing this the last time. Just grip those. And then I wanted to just square it off the bottom. At the 11 inches, so switch to a less wieldy measuring instrument. Watch the fingers. Well, that didn't quite do as good as I wanted because of the labels. So when all else fails, we will cut along the line that we already made. It's definitely because there's like 4 layers of paper here. And glued. Good enough. So then I have another page spread. I will put something here so it doesn't rip when I bind it, but it really might not be too much of a factor. We'll see. And there we go. And then I will, of course, cover up my personal information on this side when I make it. So that's done. Okay, back to this. Put these things away. This time I'm going to go for a really thin layer of a lighter yellow. So let's do a couple dots of yellow. And white, 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 white. Zinc white. Because I don't want this layer to show through too much, but this is what the layer that we're going to use to pull everything up. Hopefully, this may not work at all. Like I said, the last time I tried it, it didn't go very successfully. I've watched some more videos since then. Down here you can see my fingernail marks. That's funny. All right, I have seen videos that tell you to let the paper dry, let it sit on there till everything's dry. I have seen some that say don't do that. So we are going to just put it down, and then I'm going to lift up a corner to see. Oh yeah, a lot of that doesn't come up. Try rubbing harder. We'll see what happens. Ooh, okay. No. I'm gonna let it dry because it was tearing, and it can't get any worse. And of course, this paper is gonna wrinkle up on me, but because of the moisture, that's okay. We can live with that. Correct. Okay, set these things off to the side again. Put my paint away for now, because that's gonna have to dry for quite a while. You might not see that until the next time I do this. Okay, I'm gonna go get, I already have the book pages? Yes. So this is the journal in progress. I am building it as I go. We have done pages where we put things together, plain garbage bag or paper bag things. That's in the last video. I think these ones I decided were extra. Ah yes, this is the signature I bound with wire because I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And when I did that last, I didn't like that it went folder, grocery bag, paper with ribbon. Folder, grocery bag, paper with ribbon. So we can change that up. These are the ones I clipped together to dry. They should be dry now. It's been sitting for like 2 weeks. And then that just helps the ones with the ribbons be flatter at the fold. And then I also had the ones where we did these blue ribbons and these pages. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to include one of these in there. And I'm going to use the piece of envelope that we just cut. I'm just going to take a Post-it note over my address because I'm likely to flip it up where you can see it. And then this is one reason. So I've decided I'm just going to completely unbind this. And just kind of clip it together as I work, because I might want to add things, change things. And so we went through all that trouble of poking the holes, only to unbind it, but that's okay. Art is a process, not a product. What's happened is my little twisty ends don't want to go through. And I don't want to rip it so much. So I think I'm going to have to, here, look at it. If we take them off one by one, it works better. Imagine that, less resistance. Until you get to this fabric one. Ta-da! So never be afraid to undo what you've done. It's something I have definitely learned. So now we are going to go, I'm going to keep this on the outside of the signature. I think I am going to keep this one. No, I'm not. I don't want that one there. I don't really want one with a ribbon either. So I will keep that one because the first spread I'm going to do is going to go across 2 pages. So we'll keep it that way. And then I like that. Then I think before we do the folder again, I'm just going to go ahead and stick this in there to add some different texture. And these will line up better when it's done, but like I said, it's a junk journal. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then I think let's do, I don't like this. I'm going to end up covering that. Which way do I want this to go? Like this? Or like this? So these two will only be next to each other if this was the middle. I think I'm gonna go, I think I like this. You know, this really plain paper next to this really pretty one. We'll see. And then like that. And then we will see what things I find to add in there. So right now, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How thick is that going to be? Pretty thick, but not bad. I'm going to leave this one like this. It's kind of funny how much this sticks out more. Well, I guess it's not that bad if you look at it this way. I thought I had a weird stuff one. Was it labeled weird stuff? It was, this one. I might, I'm going to swap this one out with this one because I want weird stuff to show before the other stuff. Ta-da! I like that. I am going to, do I have any actual binder clips up here? I do not. Oh, I do. I have this one. I'm going to clip it to keep it together like that. And then these extra papers will go back in my box. And as I find scraps, we'll keep adding to it. Because this Gelli print is for this first journal spread, I will probably not get to doing that and showing that to you today. I'll also put the book back in there. Yes, clear cases for absolutely every project to keep everything together and isolated. I had a current work in progress somewhere, but I'm not sure where it went. So I started a new meditation scroll for the year with my word for the year that I chose. Every year I choose a word. Last year I did not choose a word because I couldn't decide on one, and that actually kind of tracks. It was a very interesting year last year. I don't think a word could have summed up what I wanted to try and do with myself. There was a lot of curveballs thrown in. But anyway, this year my word is, I had thought about using intentional, but there's somebody I know who uses the word intentional more as a way to get out of things and being accountable for their thoughts, and using it against other people, kind of weaponized. So I didn't want to use that word, but I wanted something that had the same meaning. So I chose the word deliberate because it means, you know, when you do something deliberately, you do it on purpose, intentionally. And also you can say deliberate, which is to, you know, weigh or compare different things to decide which one you want. And that is what I want. I want to make sure that I am being deliberate with how I spend my time and energy this year. I just can't resist, y'all. I can't resist. Oh. Okay, so we're getting, that's okay. So this is clearly because I didn't let it dry long enough. This is something I need to do like at the end of the night and just let it sit for the next day. But I am going to do some more printing on top of this before I use this layer as in my page. But I think it's working out good. It's giving the colors of fire. So what I might do is I might just paint with paint, flame type things, or maybe not. Maybe I will find a stencil or cut a stencil. I'm not sure. I'll think about it. I'm gonna have to decide though, because I really need to get this week's entry done before I'm behind again. So anyway, thanks for hanging out with me. That's all I'm gonna get done right now for today, because I'm gonna go do some other things. Try and be a little productive. I'm gonna try and do this, make time every Saturday to work on something to try and balance my energy from the week, let's say. So during the week, I am a teacher, and it's a job that requires a ton of energy. So Saturdays are usually my days to balance that out, and a lot of the times I do that by doing nothing, because I spend so much time doing stuff during the week. But I'm also going to try putting some art and creativity back into things deliberately. So we will, that's my goal for this year. So hopefully you should be seeing at least one of these videos a week. There's a lot of days I plan on coming here when I get home, but then it's dark and I don't want to. So I just turned on Stardew Valley. All right. Talk to you next time. Bye.